Hello, sweet friends. This is Gina. Welcome to the TheReBookery channel. Okay, so here it is, the long-awaited rainbow kits that I'm going to be putting in my shop. And I've did things a little different this time. So this is different than the last couple of kits that I've offered. I'm actually splitting these into two. So there will be two separate kits that will be offered. So one of them is strictly going to be just a Rainbow Bright kit with using Rainbow Bright materials. The other one is going to be a kit that is just rainbow and star and hearts and all that good colorful juiciness themed stuff. So let me show you the kit that I'm putting together that I'm just going to call Rainbow and Stars. Okay, so for Rainbow and Stars, it'll come in one of my recycled page protectors. And so here's what I've got for you. I tried to pull everything that I had in my collection that has anything to do with colorful, happy, stars, rainbows, springtime, any of that stuff. So the first thing I did was I wanted to give you guys some fabric. So you will get a package of 7 fat quarters that are all rainbow themed, and then there's a little scrap of a vintage napkin that I couldn't quite get into a fat quarter size, so it's just a smaller square, and they will be tied up with another vintage sheet. And you know, I use vintage sheets for everything, and my favorite thing to do with vintage sheets is to just snip a little edge and then pull, and it gives you that rough edge. So let me show you what I mean. A piece of vintage sheet, and I just love this rough edge right here. So whenever I'm using a piece of this, I'll just snip a little end and then I'll pull, and now it gives me that nice rough edge. And I can use this to tie tags, or I can make different shapes and use them in my journals. So yeah, and they've all been, oh, they smell good. They've all been washed and sun-dried and everything else by me, and I keep them in a cabinet. And so I just go up and I'll open that cabinet every once in a while and just get a whoosh of smelly goodness. Okay, so you get a pack of fat quarters. You will get, sorry, I'm a little disorganized right now. Okay, you will get a collection of vintage wrapping paper. So I went through my wrapping paper and I pulled everything that, one, I have not sold before. So if you've bought wrapping paper from me before, you're not going to get duplicates. I try to do like one-offs on my wrapping paper because I don't want somebody to spend their money and then get something that they've already bought. So these are all wrapping papers I've never used before, and they're all kind of rainbow themed. So I pulled some vintage wrapping paper and gave you a wide variety of colors. And so each package will have a collection of vintage wrapping paper. Then I went through and pulled some handmade papers that I have, and I got just a rainbow of colors and designs, and so I'll give you a little package of that. Okay, so you know those greenhouse kits, and there was gardening kits, and there were cookbook kits, and they came in a plastic box, and you could buy them in the 70s and 80s, and every month you would get new cards. So I have a lot of those, and I love, love, love using them. I like putting holes in them and tying a little tie on it, making them into a tag. Sometimes I'll sew across them. They're just, I just love them. They're just, I don't know. There's just something about them. I love them, and they're nice and sturdy, and they're just the perfect size for journaling. So what I did was I took all of my greenhouse cards, laid them out. I literally did this one day, one of my snow days, and I had the entire basement floor full of these, and I pulled out anything that had to do with color or stars. And so then once I did that, I went through and made 12 piles, one for each of the kits, and I tried to put them in Roy G. Biv. So I tried to have every color under the rainbow represented, or something that has to do with stars. So you will get, I think there's 8 of these in here. Let's see. So this one is white, and that says plum, and that says copper, and that says painted, and there's Black-Eyed Susan. And if it didn't have a colorful title, I tried to give you something that was really colorful. So I tried to, like I said, get into the Roy G. Biv. So this would represent orange, and then there's your reds, and then here's some pink. This one has the title Moss Rose, some periwinkle, and then big blue lily turf. So how many? I didn't even count those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's 10 of these super cute rainbow themed greenhouse cards. Now, think rainbows, you think stars. I'm thinking 1970s, 1980s, and Jell-O. I don't know why, but when I think of rainbows, I think of Jell-O. Probably the color, and because I ate a lot of Jell-O. My mom was a big Jell-O maker. So I had one Jell-O cookbook, and I'm really sad because I wished I'd had more, but I have one Jell-O cookbook, and I think I've had it since I got married. And so what I did is I went through and I pulled out all of the colorful images, and you will get 2 pages from my Jell-O color cookbook, sorry, not coloring book, cookbook, and they will have colorful images on them. So again, I went through and handpicked every single one of my kits, guys. I really do go through and make sure that every single kit is special. I would not want somebody to think they're just getting something that I threw together. So I go through and I try to make sure that there's no duplicates, and that colors will complement each other, and that you have a wide variety. And so I went through and I made sure that you had a variety of images from Jell-O cookbook. So you have 2 pages from that. Then I took some Valentine envelopes, and you'll see where these envelopes came from here in just a second when I tell you about my next kit. So these are Valentine envelopes, and what I did was I did some hand stamping on here. I just took some of my stamps that I have in my stash, and I stamped on these to make them look rainbow and stars and love and all kinds of stuff. And I love how they turned out. I think they are so cute and so whimsical. I used permanent ink, so they should not bleed if you use watercolor or anything over top of them. And yeah, I just think they're super cute. So what I did was, inside the envelopes, I stuffed them with stickers. So some of these are vintage stickers, some of these are newer stickers, and then, hang on, let me show you. I love this. This is my friend Brian. My friend Brian, he has Artificial. It's an Etsy shop, and he makes handmade stamps. And he is amazing, like beyond amazing. Like I can't even, oh, his stuff he makes is wonderful. So anyway, I had him make me a rainbow stamp. And so you will get 4 of my one-of-a-kind rainbow stamped stickers. So these are on vintage labels. So it's like vintage labels, and then you're going to get this one-of-a-kind stamp. And so you have 2 ones that are black, and then 2 that I did this ombre ink. I found this ombre ink at one of the craft stores. So each of the envelopes is stuffed with stickers, and then using Brian's stamp. Let me show you Brian's stamp. Hold on. So Brian, I work with Brian, and so he's the art teacher at my school. And anyway, we just get together and we start talking about crazy art things. And so I had him make me this stamp, and I just sent him the design. I said, okay, here's what I want it to look like. And this is what he came up with. And then he puts it on a piece of wood and he stamps his name there. And yeah, this is amazing, amazing. And it stamps so, so well. So this was one of the first ones he made me. This was, we were at parent-teacher conferences, and it was we have 2 like 13-hour days back to back, and so we're like literally slurring our words by the end of the second day. And we had a lull where we didn't have any parents. And so I said, you know, I really want a storm cloud. So he went down, this was the very first stamp he made me. And so this is a storm cloud that he made and just kind of slapped it together right there at school while we were waiting for parents. And then I had him make me a set of mushrooms. Now, I'm gonna be using these in an upcoming project. I'm super, super, super excited about it. I cannot wait. And so you'll be seeing more of these little guys. But yeah, he made me a whole set of these mushrooms. Okay, so we'll put that away and we'll look at the rainbows. Okay, so what I did was I took some old paper that you put in a printer that it pulls through with these circles. And I don't want to say it's dot matrix, but it might be a dot matrix printer. I'm not for sure. Anyway, I have a bunch of these tags and I've used them in kits before, and I'm leaving them attached because we talked about how satisfying it is when you pull them apart because they're perforated. So I made you 2 sets of tags. On the first tag, they're gonna go vertical, and so I just used my one-of-a-kind stamp, and then I used a couple other stamps that I had in my stash, and I made these black and white because I thought you might want to color these in. This is what the back looks like. It did have a little bit of bleed through, but you can do whatever you want on the back. And then again, I used waterproof ink, permanent waterproof ink, so there should not be any bleeding of the ink. And then the next one I ran it this way. So this one goes this way, this one goes this way. And there are 3 tags. And so you get a rainbow on each tag. And then I just put some stars and I added some color to this one. So those are the handmade tags. And then the last thing is I have this absolutely gorgeous current wrapping paper. And it's actually in rolls and it's kind of damaged, but I was able to pull some of the images from the wrapping paper, and I'm putting these in a kit. So you get a strip of 3, and I made sure that there's a rainbow in every one. I made sure, I think it's like every one of them has these 3, and then I gave you an extra. So you'll get an extra one of these. So there's 4 total. So that, guys, is my stars and rainbows kit, and this is all handmade. None of this is a specific brand other than like the Jello pages, and then that wrapping paper would be like current wrapping paper. So this is all just stuff that I have put together that will make your journaling really colorful and really fun. Now let's talk about Rainbow Brite. Right. I know Rainbow Brite has a huge fan base out there. Rainbow Brite was actually a little past my time. It was more in the 80s, and I was kind of out of kid things by then. Like Strawberry Shortcake was my last big fun toy kid thing. But I did love Rainbow Brite. I just loved the idea of it. So I've been collecting a bunch of Rainbow Brite ephemera over the years, and let me tell you, this stuff is hard. This is harder to collect than Strawberry Shortcake. Rainbow Brite, first of all, there just wasn't a lot made. So it's very hard to find Rainbow Brite stuff. And there were not a lot, once they did Rainbow Brite things, there were not a lot of Rainbow Brite variety. So like they did a golden book, but there was just like one. I've never been able to find another Rainbow Brite golden book. So this stuff is really hard to find. And then when you find this stuff, it's really expensive. So my stash is not, I thought I had a lot of stuff, and then I went to put it into kits and I was like, oh gosh, I really don't have that much stuff. So that's why I came up with the second kit, the Rainbow 3 themed stuff. So let me show you what's in this kit. This is gonna be called the Rainbow Brite kit because this is all Rainbow Brite merchandise. Okay, so it'll come in a recycled page protector. Alrighty, so let's start with, these are comic book pages. So there was a comic book that was called Rainbow Brite and the Star Stealer. And I'm not for sure what year this came out in. I knew it at one time and then I've forgotten. But anyway, you will get 6 pages, 6 different pages. So I made sure that you will not get the same pages. 6 different pages from the comic book, and it will probably be like 2 of them are joined and then one I've actually separated for you. So 6 different pages from the comic book, and they're in pretty good shape. There's a couple little wrinkles or like here's a little bitty tear right there, but for the most part, these are in great shape and they'll be perfect to use in your journaling. Then I had a few Rainbow Brite Golden books, not a lot. Again, these are hard to come by and they are so darned expensive whenever you do find them. So I think I ended up and had 5 books altogether. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I had 5 books altogether. And so what I did was, rather than just have a book per kit, that would only give me 5 kits, I broke them down. And so in the kits, you will get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 book pages from the Rainbow Brite and the Brook Meadow Deer. And every one is different. And this was like a puzzle because I had to go through and make sure that everyone had different pages. So I am 99.9% sure they all have different pages. I also made sure that you had at least one really clear big image of Rainbow Brite, and I tried to get you something with Rainbow Brite's horse too. So you'll have 5 book pages, and these are in pretty good shape. Like I said, they're all used books, and you might see some rough edges or something, but for the most part, no tears and very few wrinkles, but they will be great for crafting. Then I had a couple of sets of Rainbow Brite Valentines, and so this is where the little envelopes in the other kit came from. They came from these right here. So you get 4 Valentines, Rainbow Brite Valentines, and it says 1983 Hallmark cards, and so there'll be 4 different ones. So I cannot just leave anything behind. Like every single thing that I had that had Rainbow Brite on it, I put in these kits. So what I did was I took the comic book cover and I tried to cut out images that I thought you would be able to use in your journaling. And so you'll get some sort of a black and white image and then some sort of a color image, because this was the front and then this one was the back. So you'll get some scraps that have some images in them. And then I have 2 of these Rainbow Brite button pins, and they're about probably, I don't know, 1.5 inches maybe, and they totally work. And they're doesn't have a date on them, but yeah, they're absolutely in working condition. And then the last thing you'll get is either an eraser or a pencil. Let me go get a pencil. And here's a Rainbow Brite pencil. So in each of the kits, you'll either get an eraser or you'll get a pencil, and it has not been sharpened. But I just now noticed this. This particular pencil has rainbow lead. So, hey, that's kind of cool. I just thought it was a regular pencil. So anyway, you'll get one of these, and this one does say 1983. And you will just get whichever kit I grab. So I don't know if it'll be a pencil or if it'll be erased. Okay, carrying on with the rainbow theme, I took those vintage readers, those 1980s, 1970s vintage readers, and the way the text block came out, I don't know, all books don't work like this, but these books were perfect. It actually kept the spine intact. So I was going through and I was looking at these and I was like, oh my gosh, these would make perfect journals. They're not going to be too big. Okay, so these are going to be 3 signature journals. So you can kind of see the spine here. Here's what they're going to look like. They're going to be more of a flexible spine. I think on this one right here, I had to do a little bit more reinforcing. So this one's not as flexible, but still it's got a little bit of give. And so what I have done is I've made you journals, a small little, and I say small because it's 3 signatures, but a small journal that's just got some basic papers in here. Not a lot of color, not a lot of distracting like images. I tried to keep it to a minimum because I wanted you to be able to make this bright with your own art, your own memories, your own photos. And so I tried to make these kind of bland. That's the way I've been doing my journals lately, is I've been trying to make these more subdued so that your ephemera and your memories and photos and stories and artwork really pop off of the pages. Because isn't that what it's all about? It's all about your stuff. And I just want my stuff to be the base. So these guys, I've got one done. And yeah, I love it. And I think it's like the perfect size. You can see there's some room to grow. I put feed sacks, so like this is an old feed sack, and then just some vintage scraps of fabric in just a rainbow of colors. This one's got a quirky little pocket that I just made out of tissue. There's wallpaper in here, and there is graph paper and ledger paper, notebook paper. Then I put in, for some sturdiness, I've got some cardstock and tried to keep it just, you know, a basic color. Tried not to get too busy with the patterns. I did throw in this crazy little envelope right here that was from a calendar, and so it opens up on this end, and then it'll open up, let me see where it opens up. It opens up on this end right here, and I just haven't stuffed the pockets yet. So anyway, I will have these 4 baby dolls. These guys I still have yet to do. I will have these guys in my shop also. So today is Thursday. All right, let's think about this. Today's Thursday. Oh, by the way, happy first full day of spring if you live in the United States. Let's go. How about Saturday? Do you want to do Saturday? How about we do Saturday around noon? I'll open my shop Saturday at noon Central Time, and at that time I will have the 4 journals, unless something happens and I can't get these done, but I will have these 4 journals. I will have 12 Rainbow Bright kits, and then 12 of my Rainbow and Star kits. So we'll do Saturday, March 21st, 22nd, 23rd. Is it the 23rd on Saturday? God, I hope so. Okay, Saturday, March, whatever, at noon. That will be the Rainbow launch in the TheReBookery. Guys, thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope this has inspired you. I hope you have a beautiful day today. I hope you're healthy, hope you're happy, and I hope you do something creative. Bye.